everybody. So today's Saturday. That means it's time for family movie night. And today we're finishing off underrated Disney month this month with another teen movie. But this time it's not a DCOM. It is a theatrical film from 2002. We're talking about Tuck Everlasting. This is based on the classic novel by Natalie Babbitt. And it tells the story of a young woman in 1881 who is frustrated and, feeling rebellious. Her parents, she's the only child, and so her parents are very protective of her, and she wants to get away from that. Well, she ends up running into the forest, and she meets a young man, and they have like a spark, basically, and ends up at their house, and she starts to wonder what's going on with these people, and the more time she spends with them, she realizes there's a secret. There's something they're hiding. And it turns out that this whole family, the Tuck family, drank from this spring that is what's part of like a tree, is this spring that makes them immortal. They can live forever. And so Jesse Tuck is actually 104 years old, but it seems like he's only 17. And so then they fall in love, and she kind of falls in love with the whole family. She becomes very attached to the mom, and so she has to decide whether she wants to be immortal and spend eternity with Jesse and not grow old, or she doesn't want to do that. And so that's sort of the core of the story. I think this movie is really beautifully made and shot. Jay Russell is the director, and James L. Carter is the cinematographer. And I just think the movie looks very elegant and romantic. And the whole thing was shot in Maryland, which is where I grew up. And you can tell because it has that green limestone that is all over that area of the country. And it just has a unique kind of wistful feel to it because of that. Everything just looks so green, so beautiful. Everything's like covered in moss, and I just love the whole aesthetic of this movie. I also think the costumes are really strong and very romantic. It's not like this is not your gritty 1881 movie. There's something a little bit more romantic about everything, including the cinematography and the costumes and everything. I have to admit that on the rewatch, the acting wasn't quite as good in this as I had remembered. I remember thinking that they were all kind of better than they are, but particularly our two leads, Alexis Bledel and Jonathan Jackson, are pretty stiff. And I don't know if they actually have that good of chemistry. And I had always said that I think that they should have considered Alexis for playing Bella in Twilight. And people wouldn't think of that because of her characters. Rory is very different than Bella, but if you look at her character in this movie, I think you could definitely see those connections, and she would have been, I think, a more dynamic presence as Bella, because she could do everything she did with Rory, but then also have this more sort of romantic thing. But she wasn't as strong on the rewatch as I remembered, I have to say. It was a little stiff, and the acting from both of them was a little more wooden than I remembered. But the supporting cast is really good, building them up. Sissy Spacek, great. She was basically eternal mother, and her bond with Winnie is really, really tender and sweet. And then William Hurt as the dad, and Kingsley's this investigator trying to figure out what's going on with the Tucks and where the Fountain of Youth is, and if he can monetize it in some way. They're great. Amy Irving is in this. Amy Irving as Winnie's mom is in this. Victor Garber as her dad. So it's a great cast supporting our two leads, and it's a very thoughtful and interesting idea. If you think about what you would want to do in this situation, what you would choose, would it be a blessing or a curse to live forever and to never age? So that is Tuck Everlasting. I do think it's still a little underrated for Disney films, and has a lot to offer, even if the performances are a little stiff. Let me know what you think of this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So make sure you check all of that out. And if you could like this video, please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. Check out Hallmarkies podcast. We have the Patreon group, and that's the biggest way you can support everything I'm doing and get really cool benefits. We just had an awesome patron watch along where we had the head of programming at Up TV on to tell us all about what goes into running a network and a cable network. It was really cool. So you can get those kind of opportunities if you join the Patreon at any level, plus bonus episodes, lots of fun stuff. Please check out the Patreon. And then we have the merch store where we're going to have some new Christmas designs coming up real soon. We got some fall designs. Please take a look. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.